Shout out to our affiliates, VeVe Digital Collectibles. Join the future of collecting with VeVe, where the world collects. Whether you're a die-hard fan, a passionate collector, or new to the world of collecting, VeVe is your gateway to premium, officially licensed digital collectibles, comics, and artworks from some of the biggest brands on the planet, such as Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, DC, and many more. Check out the affiliate link in the description box below, or use the QR code that you see on the screen for $10 off your first purchase.
Hey, what's up? We are live. Let's go. My name is Emojii. I am here with
Magic,
and we are bringing you another journey
from Toontown
to Tokyo. And this one I'm hyped about. I have to say, this one hold on, I need to hit another yay on this.
Yay!
I am super hyped about this. I've been waiting to do this forever. Big shout out, I need to hit another yay.
Yay!
Big shout out to Demon Slayer for killing the box office. Oh my gosh. Killing the box office, and that is Tanjiro Ed Nezuko in the corner. Yeah, they are doing numbers. They are doing numbers. As of this video, recording this video, they are the #1 movie globally. And the biggest anime ever. Like
ever?
Yeah, I think numbers. I think they just beat it, because before it was their movie. They're beating out their own movie ultimately. But I think they just beat out their other movie, and they beat out Pokemon. They beat Pokemon like the first day. Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know there was another movie.
Yeah, there was another one. You're gonna watch that too. Where's my yay? There we go. But yeah, and Fantastic Four. They're beating out Marvel, the MCU. Like this is crazy, and it's only been like a week so far, and they're saying that they're not going to put it on streaming until 2026. Like they're going to keep it in theaters for that long.
Wow.
And it hasn't even released in China yet. So yeah.
Cool.
Shout out Demon Slayer for doing numbers.
Yay!
But I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You knew I was gonna be hyped about this. You knew I was gonna be hyped about this. But I mean, we've covered anime on this show, right? That's Toontown to Tokyo. But this is the first anime that we're doing. Also, to real quick, big shout out my attire. Yes, I am a Demon Slayer today. But this is the first anime that we're doing that is kind of like that mainstream popular action shonen anime, the type that most people are familiar with, right? I know we covered Death Note, which is a shonen anime as well, but that's not really an action show, right? It's more of like
I feel like this anime is what I thought I was getting into in the first place with the show. Like
what you thought all anime was.
Yeah, I thought all anime was like this. So, the way that you've introduced me to anime, I'm kind of happy about, because I feel like you started off educating me that it's far broader than what was in my mind. Mm-hmm. And so I got better appreciation for what anime truly is, and it's not just like a show where people kick each other's butts and weird cartoon stuff, and I think maybe it helped me come into this with a more accepting perspective, or just I don't know how to word it, but just it wasn't I didn't come in
like an open mind.
Yeah, an open mind. I didn't come into I'm gonna hate it as why we're doing this. So no, but this definitely once it started, I was like, okay, yeah, this is what I thought anime was.
Yeah, and it's funny because I said that to you going into it. I'm like, this is going to be the idea of what because this is mainstream. This is mainstream, and we're getting into mainstream anime. And you know, it's going to be what you thought: fighting, fireballs, super attacks. You know, they yell out the names of their attacks while they do it and stuff like that. True shonen form, right? So, but once again, these things are popular, right? And they're popular for a reason. And I wanted to eventually, we were going to get here, right? We were going to get here, but I wanted to walk you through just the aspect that anime is broad, right? It covers different things. It covers different subject matters. It's for different demographics. It's pretty much just a medium of storytelling, right? And depending on who you're trying to tell a story to is what you're going to get, right? And as you know, as you've seen, being someone that's watched a decent amount of anime, you know, this is for a whole different audience than, let's say, something like Wolf Children. Right. And it's fine. And that's you know, that's what it is. But I did want to get you into this because I wanted you to see, you know, the hype. I wanted you to see, you know, the things that are most popular. And maybe after you've had your kind of journey through anime, then some things may, you know, you may be more open to it. You may be like, all right, let me give this a shot. And another side too, right, is I think, and this is something that you've touched on a lot in the videos, some of just the cultural changes, right, in Eastern and Western animation. And I felt that, or I feel that a lot of, you know, shonen anime kind of like just jumps you into that. Some of the things that may be a little bit jarring from a Western perspective, even just the way that the animation may transition. So I wanted to kind of like get you familiar with that a little bit before I just, you know, had you jump into something like, why are their heads getting bigger? Or why do they, like, you know, why does the animation just totally change out of the blue? I wanted you kind of like get a little bit more comfortable with that. Do you think that helped a little bit?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right. Cool.
You said that, what was your sentence? That something about, you know, why they're so popular, like why the show, like shows like this are so popular. I'd like to know why, actually.
It's mainly, I think it has to do mainly with the demographics. So shows like these are targeted for boys, right? Teenage boys. So like you think high school, middle school, high school, you know, depending on the nature of the show. But that's the target. And, you know, those tend to be like the most popular things. Even when we think about the West, right? You think about Spider-Man and Batman and stuff like that. Well, who's that targeted towards? It's still pretty much the same demographic. That's why
with this, like, I mean, we have a lot of adult friends who love Demon Slayer and
yes,
were hyped to go to the movie, like a lot of adult friends. So you sure the demographic isn't maybe broader? Or is it just because they started the show years ago and have just like been as fans?
I put it the same as far as looking at with the West. You have a lot of fans, adult fans that are fans of Spider-Man, right? But when they make a Spider-Man movie, they're all PG-13. Right? Like you don't really see a rated R Spider-Man movie. And that's because, you know, you still want to target that audience. And it's the same thing with, you know, with anime. So granted, yes, there's a lot of adults that love Demon Slayer and stuff like that. But the when it releases in Japan, right, because it starts out as the comic or the manga, right? The specific magazine that this comes out in is for that demographic. Is called Shonen Jump, and that magazine is for that age range. So that's why it is, you know, targeted towards them. But yeah, I mean, it as you know, like anyone can like it, right? It's not confined to that age. It's just, you know, that's the target. But all right, so let's see, how are we gonna jump into this?
Hard too, right? Because in all fairness, like,
yes,
I haven't watched the entire series nor either movie. I just kind of watched a handful of episodes to kind of get my feet wet and get my bearings.
True.
Yeah.
So
I don't know how much of a recap, because I don't want any spoilers in case maybe I decide to watch more of it.
Yeah. I'm not going to spoil anything. So basically what we covered was episode 1 through, well, I thought it was 7, but I hear that you actually watched more than 7. Someone was on a binge?
7.5 or something.
All right.
I need to go back though.
Let's do 7, because I remember how 7 ends, right? So I'll cover 1 through 7. And yeah, so this was your first shonen mainstream anime. And for those that are unfamiliar with Demon Slayer, it starts out with this boy, right? This boy and his family. He lives with a whole family full of people, and he goes out to the market to, I guess, get wood or something like that. And it's, it doesn't really seem like anything crazy, but then you start getting these like ominous like tones in the show, whether it be the music or just the backdrop and things like that. And on his way back home, this old man pulls him aside, and he's like, you shouldn't travel at night. It's unsafe, because demons are out at night. So you should stay here. And the kid is kind of like, well, do you really believe in this? Like, is this really a thing? And he's like, I remember my grandma, telling me some stuff like that, but I didn't really pay much mind. But anyway, he stays with the old man, sleeps over, and, makes his way back to the house in the morning. But it's a cloudy day. This is important. It's a cloudy day. And he makes his way back, and he comes to his home massacred. I mean, bodies everywhere. And I think that's when you hit me up and you were like, this show is messed up. And I was like, I told you it was bloody. I told you. But how was things with you, kind of like with kicking it off? Like just that, and then, because that's a huge, I guess, first impression.
Yeah, I mean, at first I'm like watching it and I'm not loving the, how I feel about the inner monologues.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't need to know every thought in your brain, boy. Like, it's just like, that's the thing with anime. It's like your mouth isn't moving, but we're hearing everything you're thinking. And to me, it's a little, I don't know. I just feel like it's a little extra.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain things I don't mind, but it's just not my vibe.
Well, you know why that is?
No,
do you know why that is?
Why it's not my vibe?
No. Why the narration, the monologues.
No.
So that comes from it just being adapted straight from a manga or from a comic book, right? Like, and when you think about, like, you have the inner monologue, you have the the speech bubbles, right? But the bubbles that are what they're thinking. So you're taking that and you're still kind of like putting that into the story. So that's honestly where it comes from.
Okay, that makes sense, I guess. But yeah, him getting back to the house, and you had told me, like, you can watch it with your kids if you want. Like, obviously my son's a little older and can handle it, but see what you think. And that actually, like, the blood and gore didn't bother me so much. I just don't like some of the profanity, which is like weird for anime. But the B word, that's a male B word. I don't guess I really want to say it on the recording. Like stuff like that, and calling people idiots or stupid. Like, I don't really love that. That bothers me more so with my kids than the violence, interestingly enough. But yeah, I was like, oof, that was quite the death scene. I think the other thing with anime too is, me coming from the Disney background, every anime that I've watched has so much like death or destruction or turmoil or just like icky, negative, sad things. And yeah, I don't love that, because it's like, I mean, I get it because it like kicks off the story and you get to learn more about these characters and stuff, but it's like, dang, they open the show up and just kill the guy's whole family like that. So like, yay, I'm really enjoying this, guys.
It depends, and we're gonna get into some Studio Ghibli stuff too, which is a little bit more lighthearted too overall. But I think, when it comes to anime, it does have more of a gritty, that type of gritty or realistic approach. And even though it is animated, a lot of the stories are told like if it wasn't, right. It's just animation being used as the medium to tell it. But this one is exceptionally dark, right, going into it. And okay, so you find that he sees his family massacred, and he finds his sister who is like clinging on to life. So he starts trying to get her to a doctor or something, and he picks her up and starts carrying her, and she starts coming to life, but she ends up attacking him. And here's when you find out that she's actually a demon. She got turned into a demon. And he's trying to ward her off, or trying to fend her off, and then one of the demon slayers try to kill her. Now, Tanjiro, right, the main character, that one right there, right, he protects his sister, right? Even though she's trying to kill him, he protects his sister from this demon slayer that's trying to kill his sister. And in this kind of brawl, something happens with his sister, Nezuko, right there. Where she has like a state of awareness and realizes that's her brother, and she actually starts trying to protect her brother. And the one that came to kill them, the demon slayer that came to kill them, he's like, this is different. Like, why is this demon actually protecting this human and not trying to eat her? Right? Something is going on. And he ends up letting them live. Did you want to say anything to that, or?
Well, I thought that was interesting, and then it made me see that there's like going to be quite the story to be told here, right? Because how do you have a sister as a demon and not have her kill people and still protect her? But I liked her being protective of him, and that made me see a little bit warmer side of the story that I liked. That gave me the connection that I need. Like, I like the relationships and those kind of things. So once I saw that, I was like, okay, I'm kind of, I'm kind of into this. I'm interested, because it wasn't just like this kid is, going to become a demon slayer and blah, blah, blah. It added that human element that I need to be like involved in a story.
Yeah, and you're going to see a lot more of this too as the show goes on, and I think you probably already saw a little bit too as some of the episodes going on. But that was one thing that I said. I was like, this is a show about siblings and the love between siblings. And at first, you were kind of like, how is this about? But then after that, you're kind of like, okay, I see this. So going from there, right now you have him trying to protect her. And, you find out that demons can't be in sunlight, right? Otherwise they die immediately. So he builds this kind of like little case to keep her in. And he starts training. So he starts training with this old guy up on this mountain. And the old guy is actually, looking after his sister, who is at this point in like a coma. She's just sleeping, right?
She got a nice nap.
Yeah. She slept the whole time. And
I wish I could sleep like
that. but you find out, right, that also what makes her like, I guess, a peaceful demon is instead of feeding on people to live, she can actually sleep to get her energy back. So she actually doesn't need to eat people at all. And that's what she was doing. She was sleeping to get her energy back. And it's interesting because the story is about, like, you see the length that this kid goes through to protect his sister because he loves his sister, but it doesn't shy away from the gravity of the situation. Because when the old man, and meanwhile, mind you, the old man is watching the sister, looking after the sister, but he has a conversation, like a real conversation with the boy, and he's like, look, if your sister ever kills a human, do you know, are you prepared to do what you need to do? And the boy was like, kill her. Yeah, I'll do that. He was like, well, yeah, that's one of the things that you need to do, but you also need to like commit seppuku. You have to know, and you have to know that you are responsible for this person's death by letting your sister live. And I thought that kind of like made a very interesting, I guess, bond between like both of them surviving and both of us being in this fight together, with her trying to regain her humanity and him being just as equally invested in her regaining her humanity, because that's ultimately what it is. He wants to change his sister back into a human. Before I go to the big test, because in this training process there was a test for him to become a demon slayer, did you want to add anything before we get to that?
No, I don't think so. I'm good.
Okay. So, with this training process, he's trying to, become a demon slayer. There's this big test that they have to go through. And while he's training, he's seeing these two kids that that's kind of like teaching him on how to like use these techniques. yeah, he's seeing these two kids that are teaching him how to, and he doesn't know where they come from, but he knows that they know the old guy that's teaching him, right? Because they're referring to him. But they're teaching him and stuff like that. He ends up learning, the technique, and in the training course, he ends up coming across this huge like demon to stop. And you find out that those kids that were training him were actually like, I guess, ghosts or spirits, and
right.
They were actually killed by that huge demon, right? So now you're getting more backstory, you're getting more emotional attachment, you're finding out, that, just, I guess, the length that these creatures will go to take innocent lives. And Tanjiro, the main character, has to stop that monster. You said that was a point you wanted to add on?
Yeah. I thought it was just really interesting that you kind of find out that they're spirits, and I think that's another part of what makes me intrigued by the storyline is, when because he didn't know until he had to fight that demon. He thought they were real, and he made some comment to his master, the appropriate word, the guy teaching him, that was originally teaching him. I feel like at some point he made a comment to him about them, and he's like, there's no way that he could have known who they are. Like, what? Like, just shocked by it. And that happened with somebody else as well, like another student or something. The thing that made it intriguing to me is you're sort of finding out that he's not just an ordinary demon slayer. Like, he has unique special gifts and abilities, like the sense of smell. We know that from the very beginning. But then, and then the sister, like, there's all these different things that it's like, okay, there's something different about this kid. And so that makes me intrigued, wanting to, like, I don't know, see, like, learn more, watch more, and see what
well, both of them, right? I mean, the fact that she's a demon and she's being able to have that level of self-control, right? Like, and so, yeah, both of them is something, interesting. But yeah, so he ends up defeating them. He becomes a demon slayer. He gets a special sword. He goes on this other mission, like this little side mission, and he has to fight a demon over there. And then, which was the final episode that you left off on, he runs face to face with Michael Jackson. But
I was like, a guy just like Michael Jackson.
For those that don't know what we're talking about, the main villain of this show looks very, very much like Michael Jackson. It's like a thing. It's a running joke in the show. But Muzan is his name. He runs face to face with Muzan, and did that kind of take you by surprise when you first saw Muzan?
Oh my gosh, 100%. Like, can I go into why?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, first off, he's surprised that he's actually kind of like meeting him face to face. But then it's like he turns around, he's about ready to like, you know, get rid of him. Actually, he wants him to doesn't he want him first to fix his sister?
Yeah, because Muzan is the only one that can turn them into demons. So that was, you know, he was the one that massacred his family. He was the one that turned his sister into a demon. So he wants him to change her back.
Yeah, and so he's like, he's obviously angry with him and he's the enemy, but he also needs something from him. But the guy turns around and he's with his child and wife, and they're human. Mm-hmm. And so, the main character is like, what is this? Like, how? So then you also, you know, for me, it's a realization that this is quite a complicated character as well. Like, he clearly has some different skills, abilities. Like, he could just be roaming the streets and doesn't feel the desire to, you know, kill every human in sight. And he actually even does something where he like claws a guy as he walks by. And again, like, I know very little about this character, but it seems like it's almost more for sport for him than like, I need to do this to live. Like, the other demons, they kill and eat humans for survival, and it makes them hungrier, and you know, it's sort of a cyclical thing.
Yeah, I could see that. This is interesting because I'm biting my tongue, obviously, because I've seen.
Yeah, don't do it.
But no, I'm interested. You know, I'm feeling your take, and one thing too, as you get further into this show, you're going to see more of just diving into characters, right? Like the first 7 episodes, outside of the main characters, you know, you don't really do too much diving, but
more like run-ins, like short-lived cameos.
Yeah. But especially even with the villains, right? One thing that this show does is it'll introduce a villain, and then at some point it will make you empathize with the villain, even though they're a horrible person. And you kind of got a bit of a taste of that when, remember, okay, so the random side quests that he went on with the demon that could go in the water and stuff like that, with that was abducting the girls.
Yes.
Okay.
It was so, the 3-in-1 demon?
Yeah, it was like 3-in-1. So remember when he asked him about Muzan, and then like he got really, really scared. And
yes.
Yeah, and then Tanjiro realized, he was like this guy is like terrified. Like what did he do to him? Right?
Yeah.
You're gonna see a lot of that where there's gonna be certain points where, like, you know, you have this villain that you just hate, and then it'll jump into their backstory, and you're like, you just feel bad for this person.
They did that with the really big one that ate all the people and kept growing.
Yeah. And you know, the show does an excellent job with that and fleshing out characters in, you know, these short periods of time. And I'm really interested to see your take as, you know, as more of this happens. But from what you saw, right? You saw 7 episodes, I think, is a good amount of time to kind of like get a feel of what the show is about. Give it a chance, yeah. I know your kids were locked in. Your kids were locked in, right?
Yep.
But your thoughts, you know, now diving into mainstream anime, you know, everything that you kind of speculated on, you know, what was popular, and now actually seeing it, but from a broader lens of, you know, just having more anime under your belt. What were your thoughts?
I guess like it's what I expected, but also not what I expected. I guess with the character development and more of the emotional aspects of the episodes. So that's like the pleasant surprise. For me, it's always going to go back to still like I do like the animation, especially like the water stuff when he's using his sword, katana, whatever it is. But I don't know. There's still something about the animation that it doesn't hit me in the way that I think it hits true anime fans. Like they see that and they're like, oh, sick, like, obsessed with it. Like I don't really get that part.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'll say I still have the disconnect. But yeah, that's gonna.
Do you know? I just want to give you one thing, because I was reading up on some of the things about the new movie, Infinity Castle. So so the studio that does this show is Ufotable, which is one of the biggest, studios when it comes to animation in Japan. But I get it, because in the aspect that some of the things can be very artistic, right? And when you have that type of abstract, artistry, it hits in different ways. But one thing that I will say about the intricacy, specifically going to this movie that just came out, Infinity Castle, there's a scene where you see Tanjiro, the main character, he's diving into this world, this like infinite world, and they had made a point saying that the buildings were all interconnected with the stairs and everything. Like it wasn't like a copy and paste job. Like literally every single portion of this thing, you could follow the stairs and travel throughout the entire thing. And this was a big, huge map. They said that it was about 7 million assets in that one frame.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah. So, and as you get further in the series, obviously as the budget, increases more and more, you're going to see things in the show that visually, I remember like, it was this, part in season 3, my jaw dropped. I was like, what I'm watching right now is an experience. Like it felt like being on a ride. It felt like being on like a ride at Disney. It's like, it felt like an experience just watching it. So I am interested to kind of like see your take once we get there. But
said season 3. That's funny.
But I mean, we'll see. But like I said, this is why I wanted to kind of like ease you into this, because and it's also why I was like, I know a lot of people were saying, oh, start her off with Dragon Ball Z and stuff. I'm like, no, you can't start Magic off with Dragon Ball Z. You have to get an understanding of anime in general, and then you can jump into the shonen stuff. But review time, right? So now you've seen it, you've had your thoughts, you've seen the first 7 episodes, you have a good bearing. How would you break down your review for this? Also, you got to give the kids reviews.
All right, I'll start with the kids. I expected my son to love it, but my daughter seems like equally as into it. So their scores are both 10 out of 10. So they're very into it. They have been asking to watch more episodes. So I think that might be.
So I guess you're locked in. So I guess you're getting to season 3 regardless.
Well, I mean, I could just tell them to watch it on their own.
But it's a bonding experience. They're doing it together. It's a thing.
And mine's hard because I don't like to review it not knowing kind of like what happens and how it's going to continue, and it's hard for me, but I think I'm going to go with an 8.
Really? Okay. Not bad. And that's solid.
I wonder if anyone predicted that.
This is crazy. And why? I mean, 8 is a high score, especially this being something that you, going into anime in general, right? This was the idea of what you thought anime was, like overall, and you were like, I don't like this. Now you watch what you thought anime was, but you give it an 8. Why?
I will tell you first that there will, if I were to continue watching this and do an update like we did with Death Note, the place where you will lose me and the rating will go down is if I feel like it's like Death Note, where we circle the drain and we retell the story over and over. And like if you lose me on like we're basically just making more episodes because people like the show and it's not anything of substance, I don't like that. So it's like if the story can continue to stay fresh and relevant and intriguing, and I want to see what happens next, like you'll see my score go up. But I think part of the reason my score is an 8 is because I do want to know more. Like I'm kind of invested in, you know, the brother and sister, and now this bad guy, of course, leave me on a cliffhanger where I'm like, well, so yeah, I'm intrigued, and I was very captivated by the emotional tie-ins of the show and the character development, and you know what you were saying about the demons, feeling bad for them, like all that stuff. It's always going to be the emotional elements for me to tie me in. And that was a pleasant surprise going into this. I didn't think there was going to be any of that. So that's why you got an 8 from me.
Okay. Not bad. Not bad. There we go. Solid 8. All right. So, you said what the kids gave it, right?
Yes. 10s.
Okay. 10s. Okay. Across the board. Let's go. Yeah. All right. So, for me, I have to separate myself. Because obviously I'm all caught up with the series. I just saw the movie last weekend. So, I have to kind of like think about this in a, I guess, vacuum or small scale, right? Like I have to think about just 1 through 7 and my feelings when I first watched 1 through 7. When I watched Demon Slayer season 1, I thought it was good, but I didn't think it was anything extraordinary. Not yet. Not starting out. You're doing that just to try and get me. No, I'm serious. I didn't think it was anything extraordinary, especially since there was another show that came out at the same time called Jujutsu Kaisen, which I thought had a much stronger first season. So watching those back to back, I was like, yeah, it's cool. I like it. I'm interested in where it's going. But and I like the techniques. I like the water techniques. I thought the art was really, really good. But it didn't blow my mind yet at that particular moment. So for me, if I had to just do 1 through 7, those episodes, it was enough to make me want to continue watching it, but it wasn't enough for me to say that this is like the greatest thing of all time. It intrigued me. So I actually... 1 through 7? I might give it a 7.
You are taking your sweet time.
I might give it a 7. For episode 1 through 7, I might give it a 7.
How is it that the last I give the lower score, and now we're on anime and you're giving the lower score?
I don't know. I don't know what this is. But I think, I think with this, I think a 7 feels right. Now, mind you, if you want my entire review of the entire show, it's a 10 out of 10. But if I'm taking just the first 7 episodes and how I felt watching the first 7 episodes, going back to it, I thought it was okay. I thought it was all right. It was cool. I'm interested. I'm gonna watch more and see what happens. And for that, I'd say 7-ish. Yeah.
Okay.
But season 3. I'm telling you. wait till you get there. But okay, all right. So there we have it. Gave it a 7. You gave it an 8. You apparently love Demon Slayer. It is your favorite show of all time. Here we go. Any final words before we close up?
No, maybe you'll see another review of once it's maybe possibly slight chance finished, or the movies, or both.
Oh,
that's my point.
You're about to binge?
We'll see.
Let's go. You heard it here first. Magic is hooked. Shout out Demon Slayer. Maybe you'll finish the series while the movie is still in theaters, and you can see it in IMAX, which is amazing. That is an experience itself too.
We'll see.
Maybe. All right. Well, there you have it. Those are reviews for Demon Slayer episode 1 through 7. We do plan on reviewing the rest at some point, so sit tight. But thank you guys for joining. My name is Emojii. I am here with
Magic.
And this has been another journey
from Toontown
to Tokyo. We do this every Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 12 p.m. Pacific. We'll see you guys later. Thanks for joining. Take care, be easy, and peace.